Joining me is Gabriel Sepulveda Sanchez, an attorney here on the Law&Crime Network. Welcome, Gabriel. Great to have you here on the program. I want to jump right into it. This is not a great day, not a great witness for the defense, because he's describing injuries sustained by his daughter when she was in the hospital that he didn't notice beforehand. What's the defense going to do under cross-examination?
Well, under cross-examination, the defense is going to question more about when it comes down to it, it's going to be, I'm more concerned about what the experts are going to be testifying to. And I think the key issue here is whether the injuries caused to the baby were pre-existing or whether they could have been caused by the actual shaking of or the slapping of the baby from the babysitter. And, I think that's when I was reviewing this case last night, I think that's going to be the main issue here is what experts can be more credible and more consistent with the injuries that caused the death of the baby.
Yeah, well, and we also know that he has become a figure himself, Jason Weshy. Let's go back live and we'll see what ultimately happens with his testimony. All right, so Gabriel, we just heard from the father. We heard earlier from Lindsay Partin in that interview. Do you have a clearer sense of what caused these injuries, who caused these injuries, how this happened? Because I don't think I have a clearer understanding.
I mean, looking at the interrogation itself, it's obvious that if you compare both, in the end, the jury's going to compare each testimony, the credibility of the father. They're going to see the interrogation video, and just obvious that the father is a better witness. You can just see his body language; he's more confident. He's sticking to his story, and as opposed to the defendant, who's seems a little bit more agitated, inconsistent in her story. When it comes down to it, the defense is going to go against the father and really try to poke holes in his testimony and look at whether there's been any actions prior to the day of the alleged beating that could demonstrate that these injuries were caused from someone other than the defendant. So they're going to really go into whether old injuries, falls. I think he even testified that he likes to hold. Allow the baby to drive with them. They're going to go into
So what you're saying is you're waiting to see if perhaps the defense will put the blame on him.
Exactly, and I think they're going to, whatever he testified to, they're going to jump on that. And one thing I think he mentioned was that he allows her to drive. I mean, back when I used to do defense work, any sort of information they give to you that you can jump on, you exploit it, and they're gonna exploit that. I can bet you they do.
Right.
And he's going to try to see, were these injuries, is there any possibility that these injuries were caused prior to the day in question?
And those are, I mean, if the defense can show that these injuries were caused by a fall, or at least put that idea in their head, or perhaps it was caused by somebody else, that's reasonable doubt. Wow. Okay, so this is getting a little tense right now. Gabriel, what do you make of this? I mean, the defense, it's a tricky situation. They have to cross-examine him. What are they trying to point right now? What are they trying to prove?
They're just trying to prove that he's not a credible witness. And, what I'm concerned about is I'm not sure how good they prepared this witness. He seems confident, but whenever you admit that you lied about something on the witness stand, that is definitely not good. The way I assess this witness is that I think I think he seems credible. He seems confident. I just don't know if he's the sharpest tool in the shed here, and I think. Maybe that might have been the DA might have not prepared him enough, or he just chose the wrong choice of words. Because whenever any lawyer will tell you, you never say that you've lied on the witness stand there, and they're just really going after his credibility right now and trying to cast doubt into how they're trying to make the juries look at him differently.
Well, especially since it's about the night before everything happened, and his whereabouts become a big question, about what actually happened here. Joining me again is attorney Gabriel Sepulveda Sanchez. Gabriel, great to have you back. I want to talk more about what we're seeing. They're raising a lot of interesting questions here. What sticks out to you the most from this cross-examination?
Well, what sticks out to me the most is him basically admitting on the witness stand that he lied about his whereabouts, prior to the night before the incident. It's not a good look for the prosecution right now. You got a witness that admits that he's lied about some things to the police, And anytime you admit that, that's the defense right now is inside. They're really happy, and they got some momentum going on this cross-examination. Anytime you have a key witness that's had some questionable credibility, they're going to go all the way with that.
You said key witness. I'm glad you said that, because really there is a question out there. Was he somehow responsible for Hannah's injuries? That was something the investigators first looked at. It's something that the defense may be trying to look at as well. All right, another sidebar in this case. By the way, if you want to keep following the other two cases that we're covering, John Chuck, I think it's currently on a break, but also if you want to follow the Lou-Anna Simon case, you can go to lawandcrime.com, follow both of those. Where our focus right now has to be on Lindsay Partin, because this is just a dramatic day in court. You know, Gabriel, what is the prosecution's strongest argument right now? Because I'm kind of seeing doubt. What do you think this prosecution's strongest argument is?
That, for me, that interrogation looks very suspect. I'm a big proponent on assessing witness body language and seeing the credibility to that, and I think they got to really drive home, her inconsistent statements to the interrogation, her behavior. Also, I think there was evidence that she did admit to striking the baby, possibly uppercutting her. And they really gotta drive that home. And the experts are going to be really important in this case too. If their experts are more credible and they're saying, hey, there's no way these injuries are consistent with a severe blow to the head, that's going to really be the key here. And the experts got to come. They have to be strong. And I think it's going to come down to what experts the juries believe more. The defense experts or prosecutors experts, and also basically that interrogation and their assessment of how credible the defendant is on this.
Well, Gabriel, let me ask you this before we jump in. We believe the defense is going to be calling Dr. Werner Spitz. He's a renowned pathologist, and we believe he's going to provide a different theory of what happened to Hannah. What does that mean to you?
Well, it really is. It's going to be what the jury believes. In trials, there's always going to be, the one theory from the DA or plaintiff's attorney, one theory from the defense attorney, on both sides, civil and criminal suits, and it's really going to be I'm interested to hear what the theory is,
right,
and which one's more believable.
That's a great point, Gabriel. I know this is something we've all been looking for. Did he say anything that contradicts what Hannah Wesche said? I mean, was there not Hannah Wesche, excuse me. Is there anything that he said that's different than Lindsay Partin said in those police interviews? Is there anything that you see an inconsistency with?
It was kind of hard for me to hear exactly what the interrogation about what she, what happened right prior to, right when the father dropped off his daughter there. So it was that's a tough question for me. I couldn't really hear too much about that.
I guess the question is it so important for Lindsay Partin to testify now?
If I was a defense attorney, I wouldn't bring her on the witness stand. I think the DA needs to just stick with what they have, put on their experts. I really think this is going to come down to what expert theory is more believable to a jury. And I wouldn't put her on the witness stand.
All right, I'm back here with Gabriel Sepulveda Sanchez trying to break this down. It's getting fiery. It's getting tense. What do you make of it?
They're really going hard on this issue. Is him going to the store, getting milk at the Walmart there. And they have pictures, and they're trying to show that there was no milk in any of the areas in the kitchen. It's obvious there's some credibility with him. I'm still confident in the DA's case, though. I think it's going to come down to what witness is more credible. They're both got some credibility issues, and that does happen in some trials. But I think in the end, he's going to be more credible than the babysitter is. And
all right, so as he goes over this, Gabriel, let me just turn back to you about my question. Is the defense losing goodwill by going after a father who lost his daughter?
I don't think so. I think that as a defense attorney, that's what you have to do. This is one of the other key witnesses here. This is who you're trying to, who else are you going to put the blame at as far as how the injuries happened to Hannah? So I don't think it's. I don't. I wouldn't. I'm not. They're doing their job. I don't see them losing any goodwill. They actually gained some ground a little bit by showing his inconsistencies and
Yeah.
statements. I'm not concerned about goodwill.
Okay.
That's not there.
Well, we won't know. We won't know, and maybe after the conclusion of the trial, we'll get a better answer. Let's get some perspective right now, Gabriel. What do you think? Do you think the defense is doing an adequate job at putting the blame on the father?
In my opinion, they're doing what they can. They're doing anything they can to make him seem like he was a reckless father. That Hannah didn't live in didn't have the best parenting, best living conditions. They're really stretching. They're trying to lock him into time and trying to get inconsistencies in what he stated about how long it took to get to his car, to get to work, and I never, as a lawyer, I was never really concerned with that type of questioning. Everyone knows that. Sometimes our memories lapse. I couldn't estimate how long it took me to get to the office this morning. Those are barely, they're really trying to lock them into times. It's a common technique attorneys use to.
Yeah, no, and listen, there's a lot that we have to do and try to figure out from this case. But I do want to say, Gabriel, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate your insight into this case, as always.